We are live, Joey.
Yes, we are here.
That is correct. And the dogs are barking. Bow wow,
Yes,
yippee
we are here.
yippee. There are
That is correct.
Whoa.
And the dogs are.
I had my show on because I was sharing it earlier. Just letting it go out there. And yeah, so yesterday, a person that frequents my show and I allow on came again onto my page and made some comments. His name is Howard, and the only reason for me that I removed him was because I was explaining the rules that I was having for my show about interruption and about removing yourself from from taking yourself off mute. And Howard would habitually do that. It wasn't anything that he said, but it was what he was doing, his actions, that got him removed. He just is not a very gracious person, and he does not have respect for the rules that I set down. And taking yourself off of mute, that's one of the things that I'm either going to control or I'm going to remove you from the page. And that was the reason why I did that. Anyway, I have to control my temper as well, and I have to. I find myself online embittered in many ways and kind of angered at certain things that I see, and I really want to question that and just kind of see for myself what is the best solution for the problems that we are having. Look, I have no power on how anyone's going to think, my reputation. The only thing that I can change is my opinion about that. I certainly hope for the best, but I kind of prepare for the worst. It may rain outside, it may flood, I may lose all my money, I may end up sleeping out into the streets. Something may happen that is beyond my control. Joey, do you have any opinion about what I just said?
I do. Shalom, Nemo. Welcome to the show. Bonus deers, Hari Krishna, gluten abound. I don't know what he's trying to say there. Hello, Dennis and June and Donning Armor. Ahoy, mate. There he is.
I think that Nemo may be someone like Howard, maybe not.
He may appear as as some sort of Hari Krishna. Who knows? You know what? I think I've kind of achieved some sort of personal goal, and that is to not go and well, I shouldn't say don't do it, but I try to stay off social media as far as news stories go, and try to tell people who are obviously bought in hook, line, and sinker. So I've worked on my own personal anger, and that's been pretty eye-opening, and it's also it's been helpful. But The question is, when the moment comes, when the pressure's on, at the moment when you really need to have control over anger, will I be in a position to maintain and use that energy to turn things around and make it better? Traditionally, I've done okay with it. I've done pretty well, but man, my anger's kind of runneth overboard, and there's so many things to just look at, and I stare at these things, and it obviously is a trigger for anger. So yeah, definitely something to work on.
Now, Nemo says, Brian, free will is non-existence. We are all slaves, few. What a relief we can sit back and relax and stop judging ourselves and others and enjoy the ride. I don't know what that word is.
Baruch Spinoza opens doors. I'm not sure what that means. Sounds like half prayer and half gibberish. Not sure which.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad.
Now, Jimmy Lethal posted, or actually Lady Lethal, posted a show of mine that I did with I forget her name, the Congresswoman, and that he said I think he said that was our highest rated show. And I'm hearing dogs. Why don't you call the dogs over? There are dogs in the background. And anger is kryptonite, and anger should be able to inform you. I think it's good to have people around and to kind of uh, let you think before you act. That's not always, not that you're always going to do it, but sometimes emotions get the better of you, and you're going to act and behave in certain ways that are not in the best interest of the situation. And there are a lot of people that protest, that when they protest out of anger, they end up exacerbating the problem and making it worse and doing worse things for the cause. Anytime you do things out of, a lot of times when it's just fueled by anger, it's not a good cause. And if it does take hold, it's not going to be rational or reasonable. Joe, do you have anything to add? Anything that I've just stated or said?
I'll chip in. Just keep going. I don't have anything yet. I'm just waiting for you to, say something that really steers the crowd.
All right, so I'll start talking. Just jump in anytime that that I start speaking. I mean, like anytime that where the moment gets you and you have something to.
I pretty much know how to do this, so go for it. And I promise you, if I have something to chip in, I'm going to interrupt you.
You are the one person that I will allow on my show that I will allow to interrupt me, and even interrupt our guests, because you helped create this show and these episodes. So if it wasn't for you, I perhaps would not be doing this. So Joe, because it's his show, has leeway. And I said before, I was conducting rules onto my onto my show about one person talking at a time, and Howard did not want to obey those rules, and he basically breaks them. He's the most egregious at breaking them. I know that others do it as well, but I feel that Howard does it the worst, and I had to put him in the penalty box. And he's been upset because I put him in the penalty box it was just kind of like the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. But I'm feeling rather tired now. All of a sudden, just a boatload of fatigue just kind of came on to me, and I want to try to maybe wake myself up just a tad bit. But I am feeling a little bit tired, so I might go to bed early today. And yeah, and I've been getting, there's been a lot of emotion going on, particularly what's going on in Canada, and then what's also going on in the Ukraine. And it's just kind of a sad fact that today we seem to be we're talking at one another, we're not talking to each other. And we seem to be really defaming one another. And it's really a back and forth, and I'm guilty of it myself, because by nature, when someone hits you, you want to hit them back. And sometimes you have to do that. Other times it's a good idea to flee a situation if it gets too dangerous, and sometimes it's also good to walk away when the situation becomes too inflamed. And that's hard to do because sometimes you're so caught up in the moment, you want to just state your case. And that has been the problem with me in the past, where I have ended up saying hurtful things, and because I wanted to say my piece, and I was filled with my ego and bluster. And for me, I think one of the things to have a really healthy relationship is to really get rid of your ego. And that is a struggle. I think that Joe says that there is a healthy ego, and I'm not sure that there is. To me, I'm just a man. I'm a man with every one of the faults and flaws. I probably have the same, I have perhaps many of the same faults and flaws as my father, the same faults and flaws as my mother, the same faults and flaws as Howard, who was on my show, who I felt the need to remove. But every one of the faults in other people, I have those as well. It's kind of what makes me human. And hopefully people can see that in themselves. Joe, you're chomping, you're out of mute. You're ready. Did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, the ego or I can be childish, and if you're on a three-legged stool, then it's unable to stand when one speaks merely from the ego. There's a cross section, there's a trinity that consists of what I think it's the mind, body, and spirit, and by speaking only with through your ego, then the chair is going to collapse. So that's why I say there's a healthy ego. I think it works in unison, and removing the I, removing it completely is maybe just as damaging as operating only merely by the I. So it's got to, and that's hard to do. It's hard to. It requires a certain level of knowledge, maturity, and yeah. So that's just where I'm going with that. So, I don't know if that addresses exactly what you were saying, but that's kind of where what I thought of. That it popped in my mind when you said that. We started talking about ego and that you're merely a man. You are, but there is a. I think each of us possesses this trinity. Just not everybody's able to spiritually ascend or access these. I'm still trying.
I heard it said by a person who was also he read about Stoicism, and he read quite a bit about Marcus Aurelius, and he said he had someone just follow him around and say to him, "You're just a man. You're just a man." And at the end of the day, that for me is what boils down to me. I'm just a man. I'm no less or more than anything, and whatever I put forward, I come in as I am. How good or how bad my skills are, I'm just a man. I'm just a human being trying to seek the best life that I possibly can upon this earth. And at the end of the day, that's basically what most of us are trying to do. And a lot of us, it seems like a lot of us are trying to do it through the ego. And many people will live, it seems like today many people will live almost vicariously through celebrity or through causes. And I think you have to watch yourself. I mean, you can agree with causes, but you don't want to be those causes. You can agree with somebody, like a political figure, or enjoy an entertainer's music and stuff, but don't I don't think it's a healthy idea to become that person or to really to idolize. Uh, a lot of people idolize the former president. Whether it be Trump or Obama, I think there are people that idolize him. There are people who idolize historical figures. A lot of people idolize Malcolm X. A lot of people idolize Andrew Jackson, or idolize Thomas Jefferson, or idolize, the idolization of anybody is not, I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's an unhealthy thing. I had a family member who idolized Kurt Cobain, and then he saw a documentary on him, and he became surprised at how much he sold out to the corporations and stuff like that, and he was disappointed because he had put Kurt Cobain on such a pedestal that he wasn't human. And these entertainers, these people, they're human, and they have human flaws, and they have you know, they have the human condition. I mean, you can be inspired by people, but it's not good to idolize them. And that's what a lot of people do with celebrity, whether they be a politician or an entertainer. And I think that that's not a good thing. And they also idolize movements, and that's also not a good thing either. Uh, Joe, do you have anything to add? Because I think I'm going to end it. I think I've said everything that I have on my mind, and then I think I'll start one up, but I'll do one in private
You
for you.
and it's sad. I saw a post today, just before we did a show. Somebody I know posted about Kurt Cobain, and it was a quote that he attributed to Cobain that was peculiar. I don't know if he had said it for. I don't know why Cobain was the quotee, but it sounds. I think this is a much older quote, but he said Cobain said, "I'd rather be hated for who I am than to be loved for who I am not." And that, I mean, it's. I think it's for me. It goes without saying. Like all of these entertainers, especially rock and roll, and what rock and roll represents to me, it's been all just been one giant psychological operation from the start, from the very beginning. And it truly saddens me to see people, especially people my age, with a Kurt Cobain poster up in their room. It's just, or just dedicating a lot of what they believe in to Cobain. Ugh, what a terrible way to go. But we are a nation that idolizes a lot of these pop culture phenomenons. Yeah, I wonder why Donning cannot stand Nirvana. I wonder if it's the same reason that I can't stand them. And it's kind of clear that Foo Fighters dude, what's his name? Their lead singer is kind of like rock royalty now. It's like only he can bring Led Zeppelin together, and only he can. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's absurd, and yeah, I can't. I haven't liked these bands for a while. Anyways, yeah, that's I'm gonna stop rambling on that too. I think we covered that already, and maybe if we have a caller call in at some point to talk about their views on it, I'd like to see if I have any agreement out there or disagreement. But from my perspective, rock and roll was an agenda that worked in spades, and I think what it did is got a lot of people hooked into if they weren't going to war, they were going to concerts, and so and they were all war veterans, and people attending those rock shows were all coming back hooked on drugs. And it was ultimately a play to destroy the family unit, a massive psychological operation still in play, but to less effect. So I'm wondering if anybody has any thoughts here. I think I just heard them too much. Oh, wait, I was reading that. It has that Hotel California syndrome overplayed. Oh, also my taste changed. And one interesting thing about that Nirvana album was it was titled, the breakthrough album was called Nevermind. And it was basically just a carbon copy for the kids. It was a carbon copy of what the Sex Pistols did. Nevermind the Bollocks. And I see a huge tie with those two albums and why they were important, air quotes there. Anyways, that's all I got on that.
Well, I think I'll end on this. Uh, when you're young, it's something by nature. You get into idolizing things, but as you grow older, and if you are able not to do that and get entranced with these musicians or these individuals, and they become part of your life, I think it's a good idea not to do that. I mean, there is fun with music. I used to kind of take music kind of seriously back in the day because other people did it. But then I realized, wait a minute, you listen, I mean, music and stuff that it can inspire you, but you can get a few things okay. But if you dwell too much on it, it's um, it's not something good. Viva Las Vegas is a really fun song. And if you're traveling to Vegas, I think it's a great song to put out there. And you can tell a culture from its arts. Music grew dark as multicultural swept into the Western world. Um, maybe.
I think world music had its place for a short period of time where, it was really amazing. We were getting a lot of really amazing stuff. American artists were going and performing with, popular Indian artists and black artists, African artists, and for a little while it was good. But I think the whole damn thing just is far less effective now. I might be wrong.
Well, I think that certainly America has become more degenerate. I think that has to do more with when the pill started in the sexual revolution. And I think we became more blind to criminal and degenerate behavior. And I think we are paying a price for that. Um, Perhaps the pendulum will swing another way, but at this point, um, we are in a very degenerate world right now. Um, and maybe even somewhat of a fallen state. Maybe we've never been in a state of grace, uh, or maybe the state of grace is just a human, is just a singular, like for one person. I want to strive for me to be in that state of grace where you know um, someone's opinion of me is really not my concern. They're either saying the truth or they're saying lies. And with that being said, Joe, is there anything else to add before I end this show?
State of Grace. Did you see it?
Bits and pieces of it about the Irish mob. Kind of liked it. Anyway, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Visit our Rumble page as well. Also, visit our website, transparencyandmerit.com. And yeah, that's about all. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your day.